One of the things that people report when they're learning to meditate is a few days in, they suddenly can't find time. And it doesn't really matter where the student comes from. I'll talk later about getting through the first 3 sessions, but right around the 9th or 10th session, they're over the intimidation of what happens in your brain when you just close your eyes and breathe. Start to get a pretty good feel for how they're reacting to things. Unless there's some kind of psychological abreaction, unless you're kind of, getting yourself upset, in which case, let's slow down a little bit, work with a Sangha that's near you, work with a CBT therapist or a Buddhist therapist about how unsafe your brain can be and what a bad neighborhood that is to walk alone, unguided. And if that describes you, it describes all of us at some point or another. But if you're really feeling this is a hindrance to keeping you from practicing, sometimes we think these thoughts directly and we say, okay, this is what I have to go through. Sometimes we don't. And it's the times that we don't have the direct resistant thoughts when we're more likely to exhibit direct resistance. And that's when suddenly, it didn't quite clean up your meditation corner from yesterday, and 30 seconds that it takes to get it ready suddenly feels like it'll take 5 minutes. Or you just walk in one day, look at where you meditate and think, this is stupid. I have no idea why I let myself get talked into this. That happens quite a bit. And sometimes it's just knowing how hard you've worked to gain a few moments of equanimity in your meditation and thought, I'm not going to have it this next session, or I'm just going to have to sit and wait until it visits itself on me. It's not something I'm going to do on my own. And the odd thing is that can feel strangely true, and it can keep us from investing the time that we need. But the truth is, just return to the breath. If you don't have enough time, sit on the edge of your bed and maybe take your dominant hand, put your recessive hand in the palm, and just sit for a minute or two, just to get a glimpse. Because the truth is, what we discover in meditation does not take attendance. What we discover in meditation does not take attendance. Did you miss 90 days? Welcome to day 1. And you don't have to call it day 1. You can call it whatever you want to. I'm not going to go and track your insight timer. Cutest thing about that app is how many people I know who, when they feel they don't have time for a meditation, there's one guy, a counselor I know, who probably hasn't sat with his insight timer in a couple of years, but every day he hits that button a couple of times while he's driving to work maybe, or something like that. And it's obvious when you hear somebody talk and think, and you hear what their thoughts are, you can tell whether they sit or not. But that's an advanced skill. We can explore that later. But for the moment, welcome back. Really, seriously, welcome back. If you've taken a little break, that's okay. If you are, man, I am keeping on my schedule, well, that's great too. Thanks. I don't want you to sacrifice peace of mind for a sense of compliance, because I forgive you if you're not here. So should any other Buddhist. It's when you can make the time, you make the time. If you feel like you can't make the time, then let's discover why you think that's so. And that can be a short conversation. I have clients who will check in with me for a 10-minute talk. As a therapist, as an LPCS, I talk with them about what's going on. And very often, it's just a mental impediment. That's all it is. And it's mental impediments are many, but these tend to be ego impediments. And it's amazing how much corrective work, if you want to say it, or if you want to say healing, or if you want to say overcoming trauma or what have you, can be accomplished if you simply are willing to admit your hindrances are largely ego hindrances. Maybe you don't want to be the kind of person who so obviously meditates, and here I am doing it publicly. Boy, what kind of an ego do I have to lay that out there? Well, that's true. At the same time, there are so many wonderful Dharma teachers out there, include many that I'm a big, big fan of. I just don't care for guided meditation most of the time. I would rather go where my mind goes or stay where my mind stays. I'm not anticipating an imaginative eureka breakthrough moment, and I'm not expecting it to be boring. I'm simply expecting to be present with whatever it is. And when we're able to use the strength of our personality to say, this is an ego hindrance. I don't want to be the kind of person who just sits in polite meditation every day. What if I'm still an asshole? Jesus, what if I'm still an asshole and I meditate? Well, that's a real thought that some people have, especially among men. You'll sit back and say, well, I've been meditating for so long and I still snapped at my kid. I still snapped at my partner. I wasn't able to communicate clearly at work, so I got pissed off and walked out. Welcome to meditation, dude. Because as true as it is that these things do in fact happen, what you're not realizing is that when you have that string of thoughts, that's your brain talking to you and saying, hey, we don't get it yet, but the meditative act makes people think we should. I thought you were meditating. You're certainly not the Buddhist I figured Buddhists were. My goodness, how many times have I heard that in my life when I've upset somebody? Doesn't mean my ego dissolved like sugar in a glass. It just means that, hey, I've got a front row seat to this shit when it's going down. Forgive the language. I'm trying to do better this year. I've got a front row seat. I'm there. I'm getting, the spit from the boxers is getting knocked in my lap, or a watermelon if we're Gallagher fans. I'm getting hit by this stuff. Why isn't it better? And I'd say, don't wait for it to be better. Wait for the next time you meditate. It's literally that simple. If you meditate to solve the internal dialect in your mind, you'll get there, but it'll take a lot longer, a whole lot longer. And when we talk about jhana states and we talk about some of the other things that people have described, tumo meditation, some of the geek tricks of meditation that I learned almost exclusively as a teenager or in my early 20s, which was not recently. And I'm glad that I did it because I was able to demonstrate to myself some profound iti when that was going on. And I'm making my way back to that level, but it's not the goal. It's to strive by not striving. That allows you to show up even if it means you have to clean your space. So let's sit. What I know, and you may not know, is that the occasional noises that get into the studio are from the marble shop next door. They have to load a bunch of trucks first thing in the morning with these beautiful clamps that lift entire sheets of marble and other stonework, and it has to place it on a truck very carefully so it doesn't shatter while it's being delivered. It's a fun process to watch, and you've got a bunch of people who are joking around and being, fully post-adolescent, and yet when it comes to loading this marble, they are very careful and they do a very good job. It's fun to listen to them working, and you note it, and then go back to the breath. It doesn't mean you can't attend to it. Listen to it with your inner eye. Listen to it with your imagination. These things that would otherwise be annoying distractions. And you can have a hallucination of understanding that good work is being done, good things are being done, even in those good things that create the noises that annoy you. Those words have to share a root. But you've got front seats to your perceiving mind, front row seats. Use them. Pay attention. Don't restrict yourself to one definition of how a meditation should feel. It's a mistake to do so. We forgive ourselves our mistakes, but maybe we can move a little bit more efficiently if we learn just to let those visions just drop. Thanks for coming back. I know for some it wasn't easy, and you may have missed a few days, but thanks for coming back. Meditation is not about the pure mind, it's about coming back to the mind. And welcome back to the show.